Good afternoon, Michelle. And it is exactly 6 minutes past... No, 6 minutes past 1. 13 is not 3. 6 minutes past 1, so I am quite pleased in that I'm only 6 minutes later than my ultimate objective. So thank you a million times for your extreme patience, and I'll now read your horoscope for you. Personal year planner for Michelle. Taurus. Personality. Your characteristic Taurean fortitude means that other, less practical star signs, such as the ever-hopeless Librans, soon come to rely on you, sometimes making practical demands that, you feel, may exceed the reasonable expectations of cross-zodiacal friendship. Your deep and genuine fear of the destabilizing effects of conflict means that you do your utmost to accommodate their requests, only drawing the line at people who repeatedly ask you for a quick and easy explanation of cascading style sheets. Taurans are sometimes prone to physical laziness, and their desire for placid, non-confrontational coexistence makes them ill-suited for team sports. This has been a problem for Taurans growing up in such sports-obsessed countries as New Zealand and South Korea. Note from Managing Director to JP. Now look here, Bear. I gave you a second chance after the Anatolian fiasco, but I'm already beginning to regret it. Do you do this deliberately, you utter wanker? Excuse me, I'm sorry, he's a charming man, isn't he? He interrupted us. And South Korea, where Taurans are often reduced to performing menial ancillary duties for their teammates, such as washing and ironing the team's kit. Sometimes you seek to challenge your deep-seated Taurian conservatism, and you break out of your perceived restraints into decidedly non-Taurian activities, such as bungee jumping, bobsleigh, and picking fights with psychopaths in Scottish pubs. You may also rashly choose to join a filth-infested dating website, but please be aware that in doing so, you will be exposed to numerous requests from social and sexual inadequates for pictures of your bra. These requests, no matter how elegantly pleaded, should be ignored at all costs, because any recipient will, after the usual 10 minutes in the bathroom, simply go straight to Chinese eBay and swap them for some traditional homeopathic medicine. Hobbies and interests. Whereas other star signs, particularly neurotic or mental Virgos, seek to use their spare time to categorize and quantify the chaos that threatens to engulf their little private corner of perfect order, by, for example, making lists of all the women that they fancy and giving them hypothetical scores, Taurans prefer hobbies that do not expose them to the trauma of confrontation or social embarrassment. You are likely to enjoy your own company far more than that of others, and it is therefore no surprise to find you sitting at home, exercising your mind with a crossword or a jigsaw. The rise in the recreational use of IT has been a blessing for Taurans, who are able to engage at will with others, whilst enjoying the freedom from the misunderstandings which inevitably accompany social discourse. If, online, others become too demanding or oblique, the Taurian knows where the off switch is, and is never afraid to use it. Please beware the temptation to indulge in the extremist Taurian habit of photo manipulation. In seeking to alter the image of another, you are imposing your fears of the other onto an object which poses no threat to you whatsoever. You cannot neutralize the perceived intrusion of an other simply by photoshopping a curly wig or protruding teeth onto his or her chosen self-depictive signifier. The highlight of any Taurian's relaxation is the simple act of smoking. Solitary, defensive, and reassuring, the act of smoking creates a protective but permeable mist, which others must penetrate in order to access the true you. Certain charlatans have sought to equate smoking with the act of masturbation, but this is arrant bollocks, as anyone who has tried to extinguish a cigarette with a box of Kleenex will doubtless testify. Career. Needless to say, the practical Taurian makes the most of his or her industriousness by tackling either practical or menial office tasks with gusto and efficiency. Taurians do not seek to dominate their colleagues, for that would risk confrontation, but they form an essential part of any office dynamic by being the reliable, purposeful member of the team, on whom others, much to the Taurian's discomfort, seek to rely. You will develop a natural affinity with hydrocarbons, as you admire their elemental simplicity, coherent structure, and multifunctionality. You often wish that people were as easy to predict and control as 3-carbon alkanes, although your attempts to date a 250-litre cylinder of liquid petroleum gas will be unsuccessful and may result in a burning sensation which proves unresponsive to Caniston. I do apologise. Right. Oh, God, now I'm in trouble here. Sex and relationships. Note from Managing Director to JP. Careful here. We've only just met this client, and she may not be amenable to your usual gynocentric guff and childish innuendo. Yeah, he's a charming man, isn't he? When a Taurian finds a potential sexual partner, he or she is very keen to demonstrate his or her compatibility for the physical and emotional aspect of the relationship. Whilst natural Taurian skepticism about the wisdom of allowing the other to intrude still remains, the ardent Taurian realizes that a successful relationship, much like any other practical task, requires a certain degree of flexible tolerance in order to internalize and complete that task. Furthermore, Taurians, having made the concessions necessary to bond with the other, will stubbornly and loyally seek to protect that bond, even in the face of distracting obstacles, such as internet pornography or the slutty-looking 17-year-old who lives just down the street. Of course, Taurians have an idealized vision of a future life partner, but they are practical enough to know that lusting after ideals exposes them to possible and destabilizing feelings of rejection or inadequacy. The decision, therefore, to accept second best is not seen as a shameful compromise, but rather as a sensible and ultimately self-protective measure, fully in keeping with your overriding objectives of a quiet and drama-free life. Have a sparkling and stellar year, Michelle, and do try to steer clear of stupid skeptics and Librans.